Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now in the first video, I showed you how to form 22 arc brass from 6.5 Grendel brass. In the second video, I also showed you what my process is when it comes to load development and fire forming brass. Now in this video, I'm going to show you my process for brass preparation to get the brass ready to load to come to the final conclusion of our load development. As you can see, this brass is very dirty. I shoot a traditional backflow can that causes this carbon buildup on the outside of the cases. So I'm going to go over what I do to clean the brass, also annealing and getting the cases ready for that next step, which is trying to figure out a load for the 62 grain ELDVTs. My process differs a little bit from traditional case preparation, more specifically on the 22 arc brass. This could also go for 6mm arc brass and 6.5 Grendel brass. So if you've made it this far, I hope you continue to stick around and see my process. Hopefully you can learn something new or compare notes to what you already do. So once again, as in the other videos, let's get started. So the first thing that I do is I go ahead and I deprime all the cases. I end up using this Lee Universal Deprimer. Now in the first video, you may remember I don't use the decapping pin in my sizing die. I used to use this Frankford Arsenal deprimer, but as I get older, my hand gets more worn out. And so after about 50 to 100 cases, it just takes its toll on it. So what I do is I let the press and the die do the work for me. Although it's an easy step, this is the first step that I take when it comes to brass preparation. So I'll go ahead and deprime the rest of the cases and go on to the next step. Okay guys, so for this next step, I'm going to show you my cleaning process. So what I do is I already filled this Frankford Arsenal rotary case with water. Probably see the suds. I use this Dawn Platinum dish soap. From here, what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of Lemmy Shine. I really don't ever measure it out. I just put it in there until I feel like that's enough. I don't think I've ever put too much that caused any issues. And then from here, I take this Frankford Arsenal stainless steel tumbling media. You can see it's just some stainless steel pins. Just dump it all in. Go ahead and seal it up. Now the water that I use is just regular tap water, but I did make sure that it was nice and hot. To me, it just helps with the cleaning. Actually, I'll just throw it this way so you can kind of see the window. See that there's not that much. And for the tumbler, I actually have it set on a smart outlet. And I'll let this run for about 3 hours. Then I'll come back at the 3 hours and I will show you what it looks like after. Okay guys, so it's been about 3 hours. I do have this little mesh thing on the front. I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like when I dump this out. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know if you can see how black that is, but yeah, that's some nasty stuff coming out of there. So what I'll do from here is I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it out and get it set up on some towels. I'll hand dry them and then I'll show you what my drying process is. Okay, so if you remember from the first video, I said that I had two different medias. I had corncob media and I have stainless steel media. Well, since these are stainless steel media, I still have the same bag. I did already tumble these. I just kind of wanted to show you. With that, it catches all the stainless steel media. So from here, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get a couple of towels. Like so. I'll throw it out there. Sorry if I bumped the camera. Hopefully you can see that. Then I'll grab this. I'll go ahead and dump the brass. Set this to the side. There it goes again with the bump in the camera. And I'll just work the brass. Just dry it, kind of spot dry it. Make sure that I got all that water off. I'll show you the brass. I don't know if you can see it, but the primer pocket is clean. Brass is clean. Used to look super dirty. I have another piece of brass to kind of show you the difference. Fired, clean. So now that I have all this done, I'm going to go ahead and take my dehydrator here. It's just a normal food dehydrator. I got it off of a Facebook Marketplace for like 10 bucks. Works really well. Then I'll just throw the brass in here. Like so. Now what I'll do is, once I get all this here, I'm going to go ahead and hook it up to my outlet, or my smart outlet, and do the same thing and let it run for a few hours just to dry any kind of moisture that this brass still holds. I'll usually dry it for the same time. I think I said 3 hours. So put this on. Well, doesn't have the steps. Plug this in. And it's on. So I'll let this go for 3 hours and come back and show you my next step. Okay guys, so on this next step, I anneal the brass. If you've never heard of annealing, what it does is it basically takes the brass and it reheats it up, making it a little bit more malleable. Think of the brass like a paper clip. If you overwork it, it becomes brittle and it breaks. So with this, I don't anneal necessarily every time I fire it, only after the first one, and then I anneal as I see fit. So there is one step after this that comes before full case resizing that is unique to like the arc, the 22 arc, the 6.5 Grendel, and the 6mm arc brass, which I'll show you after this is all done and gets cooled off. Alright guys, so this next step, you should recognize this from the first video. I have my brass all standing up. I got this liquid lanolin mix. I think I said it was a 10-to-1 ratio. So 10 parts alcohol to 1 part lanolin. Anyways, so I just go ahead and spray this down as so. Get it in the next, rotate it. Just make sure I get it all nice and lubricated. So I shake it around a little bit. Give it another spray or two. Okay, so from here, I'll let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. Let the alcohol, I guess, evaporate off of the brass, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright guys, so for this next step, like I said, this is going to be a little different. So what I have here is the belt buster die from Sergeant of Arms. What this does is this helps prevent what they call a Grendel belt. If you've never seen a Grendel belt, I'll try and post one on the screen somewhere so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Basically all this does is this takes the case such as so, and I guess the case down here is called the webbing. So what it does is it compresses the webbing in. That way you don't have any kind of separation like down here. You'll start to get like a little ring that kind of makes a belt. Therefore I guess making it sound, or making it being called a Grendel belt. So all I do is kind of like just a normal die. Just screw this in like so. I already have it adjusted. So basically all I did was put this up. You really can't see it from here, but just make sure it's touching, and that's about it. So from here, I have a number 6 Lee shell holder, or Hornady shell holder, I'm sorry. Number 6 Hornady shell holder that fits this. So all I do is push it up, bring it down, and basically all it did was compress that webbing right back in. So, you know, sometimes with overpressure and stuff like that, it causes it to come out. So I'll show you one more. If you've ever loaded 6.5 Grendel 22 arc, 6mm arc, sometimes you know that if you try and put it in a regular die, you might feel a little bit more resistance, and it causes some flaring at the bottom. So like I said, this all it is just squeezing it in. So I'll continue to do the rest of these pieces, and I will show you the next step, which should look familiar because basically all it is doing the same thing that I showed in the first video. But from here, I'll show you how to adjust the shoulder, not just doing it where you can't cam over. Okay, so while I was sitting there throwing everything through the belt buster die, I don't know if I really went into the Grendel belt. Well, what the Grendel belt does is it causes that belt, like I said, at the bottom, but you'll start to see case separation from there, kind of like how you see it like the necks and stuff like that. So all it does is just prolong your brass life and everything else like that by squeezing everything in together. Also, it helps reduce some feeding issues, because if you have it to where it's swollen up, your case is not going to go into your barrel as smoothly as sometimes it'll get hung up too. So that just helps alleviate that. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to see about sizing the brass. This is going to be a little bit different than last time. Last time I told you to go all the way down and then don't cam over, just stop whenever you feel it touch the plate. Well, here now we're going to want to cam over. This is going to set our brass down, the shoulder back down to, I say, at least 2 to 3 thousandths. Now I don't know if the die is already set to that, so we're going to go ahead and check. So what you're going to need is some calipers and some headspace comparators. So right now we're looking at 1.226. Now the comparator I'm using is actually for the 6.5 Grendel, so it should work for both, as you can see. So 1.226, we'll go ahead and zero it right there. Go ahead and take this, stick it in there, pull down, size it. We'll see what it's at. Nope, I was about to say, whoa, that's so about 4 thousandths, which is okay. It's not too bad. So normally it's 2 to 3 thousandths, but from people that I'm hearing, it's okay, especially for ARs to go beyond that. So I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to check another one, as long as they're uniform. So 0. Do this again. Check it again. Interesting. That's why you check with multiple pieces of brass. That's kind of weird. I'm try one more. Make sure. Zero this back out. All right. Go ahead and resize it. Still 6,000. All right, so that's a little too much. So what we're going to do is I'm going to back this off a little turn at a time. So let me grab this. Loosened up the nut. We're going to go ahead and back it off about a 1/16 of a turn, maybe. I don't know how you really measure that, but just a small amount. Grab another piece of brass. Maybe another one, different one. All right, 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0. Basically, just kind of trial and error. The reason I'm not resizing the other brass is because you don't want to overwork that brass. So it just gives you false readings too. So 3,000s. That's probably about perfect, but we're going to go ahead and do one more to see if it matches up, and if so, the brass is showing different. Okay, 0. Try it again. So 2,000s. So I'll say that's about good. So it might fluctuate from 2 to 3,000s depending on the brass and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to resize the rest, and I'll see you on to the next step, which is just using the mandrel to do the case necks. Okay, now that I have everything sized, I went ahead and measured everything. Everything was roughly about 2.5 to 3,000s once everything got settled in. I don't know. That's just how it goes sometimes. Brass is finicky, especially when you shoot it. You know, the main reason, because I didn't go over it, the main reason that we're bumping the shoulder back is because when you fire, all the gas and pressures that fire out form or basically make your brass expand in the chamber. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to push it back to within spec to where your chamber can accept that round. But anyways, this next step, again, like the first video, we're going to use an expander mandrel. Now with this one, again, I know I've said it, Sergeant of Arms, I got this one from there. Said that it's supposed to be specialized for like 223, 22 arc, stuff like that, for gas guns. So it took me a second to find what the size was, because I can't look it up, but I don't think it's gonna focus. It just says 22 cal and then 220 thousandths. So yeah, and of course, you know, the bullet's gonna be 224. So this is just 220. Yeah, just stick that in there. Tighten the cap. Make sure it's good to go. And of course, same thing. Go ahead and make sure that it comes down for a minute or two, and then, well, not a minute or two, but just like a second or two. And everything should be pushed out. Just one more for good measure for the video. Leave it for a second or two because of the spring back. Nice and round. All right, I guess I'll do all the rest of these. After this, I don't think I need to show it because in the first video, I think is where I showed that I go ahead and tumble it with corncob media. I don't think you need to see me just throw it in there again just to lengthen out the video. So I'll do that, and then the final step in the brass preparation, I'll show you what I do, which is just going to be sizing the brass down. It'll also chamfer and deburr at the same time. So I was planning on adding shooting to this video, but the weather hasn't been cooperating here a lot lately, so I'm not really sure when I'm going to be able to do it. But I am going to go ahead and order some of the 22 arc 62 grain ELDVT factory loads. That way we have something to compare in the next video. So yeah, just kind of want to give a heads up of what's going to happen, and I will continue to do this. And then the next step you'll see me doing is the sizing. All right, guys. So for the final step, it's pretty easy. All we're doing is trimming the case. The case maximum overall length, if you remember, is going to be 1.525 inches. And then the minimum case trim length, or the shortest it can be, is 1.510 inches, according to the Hornady reloading app. So what we'll do, just to kind of get a baseline, see what the brass is at right now. 1.520. So not too bad. But like I said, we kind of want to trim this because the brass will grow over time. So you don't necessarily have to trim after every firing because it's not going to grow that much. But, you know, maybe after every second or third firing, I would check to see and make sure that it's not over that maximum length. So to set up the die, again, you just screw it down, make sure the ram touches or the shell holder touches, and you should be good to go. Now, what you do, raise that up. I have a little bit of a power drill. That's the trimmer right there. It will chamfer and deburr as well as trim it down to length. So nothing much to it, just hold it down, let it go, pull it down. If you could see that, it's going to be chamfered and deburred as well. Let's go ahead and take a measurement. Just want to make sure it was zeroed out. 1.510. So perfect. It's the minimum. So as you can see, nothing much to it. I'll go ahead and chew up through the rest of this brass. After this, I mean, I'm not going to show you any more because the previous videos is just going to show you the same thing. Just going to load the primers, going to load the powder, going to load the projectiles, and get everything ready for the next video, which hopefully should happen soon. I'll also have that 62 grain ELDVT factory ammo to kind of shoot side by side so we can see, you know, velocities and see if it groups any better. My gun might not like 62 grain ELDVTs, so who knows. But anyways, with that note, thank y'all for sticking around If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'll be happy to answer any. Also, if you have any ways that you prepare anything that you would like to uh, let me know about, I'll be happy to look into it as well. As every video I say that I'm learning myself, so that's just what I do, and hopefully, if the visual aids help y'all can get to it as well. Well, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.